Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new GP Bikes video. Now today we are on Philp Island. The actual Philp Island has come to GP Bikes and I've decided today to try it out for the first time with a twist in VR. Now, as you can see on screen, we are riding the 2005 M1 Yamaha in the Laguna Seca skin. Beautiful bike. Valentino has been quoted in the past as saying this is one of the best, if not best, Yamahas they've ever produced. It came with such a step forward of the 2004 bike and he absolutely dominated the field. This livery was run at Laguna Seca for, I believe, the 50th anniversary. It was an anniversary, I just don't remember what decade it was, but pretty cool black and yellow, real classic throwback to the Kenny Roberts days. It's absolutely stunning skin. Originally I wanted the 2006 one. Fortunately this mod I'm riding here today unfortunately just didn't have the 2006 bike. You can see here now we're just getting in and around the swing arm and the rear shock and just having a look at all the linkages and how well these models are. And in VR you really see all these bits, whereas in third person you kind of just see the rider animation in the back of the bike, and it's a lot of work goes into these games, and unfortunately you don't see it much on the 2D monitor, but when you get in 3D into the VR side of it, everything comes to life and it really is pretty damn good. But we're going to get some laps in here now while I talk about GP bikes, GP23 and a host of other things. But I'm going to start off talking about GP bikes and where it's going in the next couple of weeks, months, because we're supposed to be after getting an update a long time ago for the new beta. Wave to Proposo, orange man to my left as we leave the pit lane, but unfortunately we're just lacking a lot of kind of features that should be in the game. Like the fact it crashes so much, just so many issues when I stream that people can't get in, which really kills them, because when people join the stream and they can't get in, it really annoys me, because of course they're watching because they want to play me and then they can't play. I feel bad for them, and then I go and create a new lobby and then said person can get in, but then another person who's watching can't get in, so you can't get everyone in, which really is a shame when you're trying to stream or play this game with friends or trying to play it with some fans and stuff like that and viewers. But the connection, the weird online bugs, there's just some weird features in it, like the start of a race, especially league race, if you move on your grid slot you get disqualified immediately. That should be taken out, or at least be toggled on and off, because for the most part that's lag they move. If you jump to start when the lights come on, you get a jump start. That is correct, that should be the way it is, but the fact that when you're sitting on the grid waiting for people to come and you're just sitting there, controller on the desk, and it pops up you jump started them. Just so many people have lost out in league races because of that, and I think that's something that should be allowed, at least disable. Can have a toggleable on or off, so if you do want to run it you can have it, but I don't really see a point of it. It doesn't work the way it should do, and it just causes so much havoc, and just overall it really slows down the league races. Pretty much every league I've ever done, it's happened to someone and we've had to restart it a couple of times, and unfortunately it just kills the flow. And any of you who tune into my live streams know that it just, you go to track, you wait, oh it's been disqualified, we go back out, and you keep going back and forth, and that just causes more issues, and you don't want that. You just want everything to go a bit more smoothly. So online kind of being a bit more smooth. The elevation in this game is just absolutely broken. If a bike hits a bit of elevation it doesn't know what to do with it, which is ironic because I have Portimao this weekend in my World Superbike League. I've done laps there and it's a very hit or miss track. Some lines work, some laps they work. Just for the most part you're really just kind of throwing the bike into a corner and hoping it's going to stick. You can't really guarantee that the bike is going to stick. So that's probably my biggest issue with that. The kind of weird front end pinging around is still there, but I believe that's more mod than bike, or sorry, more mod than game, as I get the Miller hairpin all around, all the way out to the gravel. I remember when I was recording that thinking, where the hell did I brake? Because the bike just did not stop. But as I was saying, the elevation and the weird front end pinging around when you change direction, I feel like the front end is definitely an issue with the elevation and the change of elevation. If you ever watch it back in the replay camera, you can see the bike is kind of crabbing a bit and the front end is being dragged by the rear. Just it doesn't line up with what's going on screen. So unfortunately for me it's a big issue, because it just takes away from the enjoyment and takes out a lot of tracks. Like I'd imagine Portimao is pretty amazing if you could ride it the way you're meant to ride it. And some laps you do throw the bike in at 6 and it feels amazing, but the issue is them other laps then is where the real issue is, where you're actually riding normally and you feel like you haven't done anything wrong, and because you've just hit a weird bit of elevation that you just collapse on your face. So it's quite annoying, and it's hard to, it can really frustrate people, and it just pisses people off. And unfortunately, a lot of GP Bikes players at the moment are kind of idle on the game. There's not many people on it, bar leagues, and you get the biggest events at the moment are the league test sessions throughout the week. You kind of get 10-12 people in them at most, but it's usually kind of Tevea's leagues are the only thing on these games at the moment, which is a bit of a shame. There's not a whole lot. I know the Indonesians have their own GP Bikes Indonesia kind of whole setup going on, they do it, but their hours compared to me is just all backwards, so middle of the night for them is like daytime for me and vice versa. So moving on now to MotoGP 23. As of recording this, it is a week until release. Now, a lot of people are giving the game hate before they even got their hands on it. A lot of people aren't even going to buy it, and that is fair. The last couple haven't been great. It's been a while since we've had a real good motorbike game from Milestone, so I can't understand the lack of trust. But then also, does your hand, there's people pre-ordering it and actually thinking that it's going to be one of their better ones. So the physics are weird, because you just can't tell how good the riders are when they get it early, and you don't know what the level of rider is. So for me, until I get hands on, I can't really guess at the physics. They look different, they look maybe a bit more snappy on the braking. Then again, I can't say for sure if that's just not a bad rider, because a lot of bad riders have these weird inputs that will upset this bike. So for me, the biggest thing is the physics. If they can improve the physics, everything on top of that is a bonus. When GP Bikes came to PC, or came to Steam I should say, I was really enjoying MotoGP 21 up until then. It was a good, decent game, and after that I played a lot less because GP Bikes just took over and was so addicting and so fun that I played so much of it, and it's just, even to this day I still play ridiculous amounts of it every week. But I just felt like then you instantly just showed up a lot of issues with Milestone's game, and going back to them is quite difficult. But then we got MotoGP 22, the physics were a terrible step backwards. They brought in the 2009 season, which was a cool feature, but it was kind of wasted on that game, because the actual gameplay of the game was so dull and boring, and it just wasn't enjoyable and frustrating for the most part, that I just never really had any incentive to play this game. And unfortunately, many tries did I try to play online with people, and it never kind of came to fruition. Unfortunately, it just really is a wasted game, and unfortunately a lot of people are burnt by that game and reckon that MotoGP 23 will be the same, and they'll go down the same route of having kind of weird arcadey but not enjoyable physics, and that the online will be dead and the curbs won't work. So there's a lot of negatives coming into GP23. I'm hoping that they can fix a lot of them. I'd be lying to say that I'm confident that the game will be bug free or issue free. I know for a fact there's going to be some sort of issue in the opening week or two. It always is the way with Milestone games, and pretty much every modern day game really at this point in time. Unfortunately, you just don't get a fully finished game when you buy a game these days, which it's a bit of a shame. But it's kind of, it is what it is. But we know that there will be updates throughout the life cycle as always, and Milestone do try their best, which is always you need to remember that as well. There is a company behind this trying. They get a lot of slack for it. They do try their best in fairness. So a lot of times I'm probably pretty harsh on them, but you need to remember as well that these people are trying their best. Like, they don't want to be putting out terrible games. So, and like, they kind of are a massive games company in terms of the motorbike industry, and now that they have Ride 5 coming at the end of the year as well, it'd be nice to see them get a bit of momentum and get a couple of good games going and get a bit of credibility back, because I feel like a lot of their in-house engine games up until GP18, when it moved to the Unreal Engine, they were pretty decent. They weren't mad realistic or anything like that, but they were enjoyable, and you could actually have a good bit of fun with them. And I've noticed that going back to MotoGP 17, that one, graphically it's nowhere near the current games, and two, the physics are a bit floaty and a bit arcadey, but they're actually fun, and you pick them up pretty quick, and you can just ride that game. It doesn't take a mental amount of time to get up to speed with, and take a lot of focus on just trying to stay on track. There's just too much going on with the current games that take away from the enjoyment. And as we come here to the end of this video today, I hope that we get a new beta for GP bikes. I hope that GP23 lives up to it. And yeah, that's pretty much it for today. Hope you have enjoyed. Just a little chilled out video, bit of VR, bit of Philp Island. I must say, man, he's done a smashing job with the new Philp Island. It is amazingly fun to play in VR, and I must say, I'll definitely be back on this track sometime soon, and definitely in the VR headset again, once again. So thanks for joining. See you all soon. Hope you have enjoyed. See you in the next one.